Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another edition of Three Live Canes. I'm ready to start that up just as Steve-O is leaning off screen because we're all about battling through adversity here. Bill was in here just a minute ago because usually I'm like Bill and then Steve-O. Bill was right there, but his Hilton Honors internet connection not doing the job. So he's got to go try to make that work, plug some Ethernet cables in while we're here to talk to you guys about another week of Miami Hurricanes football. And as the weeks start to pile up now, like some of the picture for the playoffs and the offseason becomes a little bit clearer as we start to figure some things out. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the win over NC State. We'll talk about the new commit. A lot of good things, a lot of fortuitous things from Miami over the course of the past week. But before we get to all that, Steve-O, how you doing today?
I'm big vibing, good week, coming off a big dub, obviously last game of the year, homecoming, just the way we won. The game was fun the entire time. Outside of maybe the first possession on offense, you were like, oh, here we go again. And then you never had that thought again. So it was great. It was great events. It was a funny moment. Rampage King, everybody knows him. He's a troller on Twitter. Had dropped that the picture like, do I see all four white receivers with it? It was a hilarious meme. So shout out to them. Shout out to everybody. They earned that right to play out there on senior day. Shout out to Coach Dawson letting Emery fire it. Shout out to Coach Dawson letting Luke Nickel, even though he didn't hit it, fire it. It just, now we're playing for style points. This is what fans have been wanting, So I feel really good. I think, man, I wish we can go back in time with this type of offensive approach. But I'm feeling good.
Yeah, it's starting to open up a little bit. And I know, Steve, you said it a couple weeks ago, back after the first loss, where it was there's opportunities out there. If we get after this thing, find a way to do it. We got a lot of people in the chat so far. We got Utah Jim 69. It's all about the Utes. Port Knox fighting a good fight. Sergio Sanchez coming in with a haymaker at 2.5. I don't even know if that's allowed in Utah. 2.5 might be a little bit too much, but then Utah Jim swinging back in there. I have my theories about Utah Jim 69, which I feel will probably be accurate, as we'll see in the course of the show. But thank you guys for tuning in. Got a lot of stuff going on. Bill will join us when he figures out how to dial in from the hotel internet, and we'll talk some Miami Hurricanes football the next hour or so. Got Three Live Canes.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska.
He's a stud, that Brown, number 98.
Irvin's got it. Irvin's free.
Slips to the outside, tries to stiff arm, but he couldn't get by Ray Lewis.
Big time players. Step up in big game.
Hard dog. Don't ask me for more. Hell no. Devin Hester up to the races. That's what they needed.
That's Ricks going up for Thorpe, and it's intercepted near midfield. Sean Taylor's got another one.
Who else?
But Sean, who else but us here on a Wednesday night? Talk to you about Miami Hurricanes football. A mollywhopping Miami against NC State this past weekend. Carson Beck had one of his best games as a Cane, 21-27, 3 touchdowns. Pringle out there, 17 carries, 116 yards. Once they popped him out, they couldn't stop getting him the ball. A little Pringles reference there. Feel free to throw some money at us. Keelan Marion, 96 yards receiving. The ball was being sprayed all over the field, and Miami did a great job of converting in that attack-based offense. And not much on the other side. I know there's always talk about CJ Bailey and revenge game, this and that, but wasn't much of that. They tried to make that a thing early on in the broadcast, and I think they shut that down pretty quick when it looked like it wasn't going to be anything like it. But Miami pulls off a humongous victory over NC State to keep that dream alive. But before we get to the ramifications of the win, Steve, let's talk about the game itself. What was your biggest takeaway?
We played a complete game. I would say all 3 phases we did have a missed field goal. That's his first miss of the year. He's been solid, so I'm letting him pass all day. And Carter Davis, but a complete game offensively. On offensive line, on defensive line, it was complete. But, bro, we finally just said F it. And it's not just on offense. We blitzed Thomas and, every safety so much damn times. We was after CJ Bailey. And our cornerback stood up all day in man coverage. There was not one play where, we they let us off the hook. Nah, bro, there was nothing out there to be had. The defensive line was crushing them. We dialed up so much damn blitzes being so aggressive. The corners did not give up any separation versus NC State. It's one thing, people are going to say, oh my God, CJ Bailey did trash. He did do trash. That's what it is. That's just the facts. However, when you look at and break down the game, he had nothing he could have done. There was like nothing you could be like, damn, CJ, you could have did this on this play. Like, bro, we got freshmen like Scroggins, Herbert in there putting pressure on this man, leading the interceptions. I mean, it was everybody's night or day, to be honest with you, on defense. I mean, hats off to him. You could cry thinking about the DB play from this year compared to last year. I mean, it's just so lights out. Like, now it's literally a strength. We won that game handedly because of our defensive backfield holding up the way they did, while the defensive coordinator was able to just say, F it. I'm throwing the kitchen sink at you with our rushes, with our blitz packages, everything. And everybody was winning one-on-one matchups. I mean, that was my biggest takeaway. We won one-on-one matchups on offense, but most importantly on defense. There was nothing that CJ could have done. There was no running room. I mean, we took that running game like I can't even remember a run that NC State had that was like, oh, okay, someone missed a tackle, or someone, bad hand technique. You had to, like, there's just nothing on tape that was just like, damn, they averaged 1.5 yards a carry, and they got lucky on a few of those to make it back to the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm. And this is we talk about what our defensive secondary, like our secondary, was before the year. And I remember those conversations, and it was like there was a lot of like what could be. Maybe they could be really good. They could be this if everyone plays the potential and the transfers all. And we threw a lot of ifs out there. But when we were talking about question marks, like, it was natural for it to be there because that's where you had the most significant issues from last season, and the safety play especially at the top of that list. And then this year, like you said, night and day. I mean, Jacoby Thomas, like how he stepped up and big opportunities and made plays, 2 interceptions, ran one back for a touchdown, and he gave a CJ that, like, come on and get me, like, as they were walking up, going down to the goal line, like that kind of stuff, that kind of swagger play, like Jacoby Thomas all season been awesome. And then you talk about like the week after you lost, probably, I mean, arguably your best defensive player this season, arguably in Keontae Scott, based upon how some people talk about him and Ruben Bain, but a lot of people think of him as maybe being our best guy on the defense of the course of the past season. And you lose him, and then your secondary has maybe the best game they played all season. I mean, hats off to the secondary, hats off to the coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball for what they were able to do.
Yeah, I mean, losing a player of that caliber, I mean, I'm one of those people who I think is definitely a debate who's the best player on defense. And it's no disrespect to Bain at all. It's just how good, Keontae Scott has been. But see true freshman Bryce Fitzgerald step up into that role and seamlessly. And one of the things coming out on him was, can he tackle? He was tackling versus NC State, and he was flying all over the field in coverage. It was just very impressive. Again, you would think that the fact that we're missing guys, exactly, no Scott, no Blade, no OJ. These are impact guys. OJ's an impact. He's a starter. These are big time guys we're missing, and for the defense to put this in, it just finally playing like this is how we were supposed to be doing our competition all year. There was times where we saw it. Obviously, we weren't expecting a blowout versus Notre Dame. It was that grounded out type of win, which was totally sometimes that's how you win big games, and we saw it. But some of these other games, we didn't have to. Oh God. we didn't have to. I just noticed the name on that comment, but we didn't have to, man. Like, I mean, we could have just been pedals to the metal, showing the committee that, hey, we're one of the top teams in the country. Ohio State has a very soft schedule, but they blow everybody out. So it's Ohio State, So this is how we are supposed to be doing it, and we'll see if it's enough. Obviously, we'll get to that, but just very happy that they're just saying F it now. And I think maybe Coach Mario moving forward, because obviously he's our coach for the long run. Let's be real. And I'm happy he's our coach for the long run. Moving forward, maybe some of that tentativeness on offense will not be waited for. We've seen a couple times under his regime, late season sparks on offense. Obviously not last year. It was fireworks from the beginning with Cam Ward.
Right.
But, previously, even with TBD, slump in the middle of the year for like 4 games, it was terrible. Then boom, back up again. Oh, Restrepo, Jacoby, making plays again. So maybe we'll start faster on offense moving forward, since we know now that we need style points more than anything, because head-to-head matchups
For sure.
don't matter.
Right. And, speaking of head-to-head matchups, the rival of Bill, I know, head-to-head matchup with his router out there, the Hilton and wherever Booney Town. Where are you, Bill? What Booney Town you in?
We're in Albany.
We're pretty boony up there.
Literally like 4 minutes from Reese Puffenberger's old stomping grounds up here.
My boy Puff,
the legend. But Bill, we're talking about with takeaways from this game against NC State. Already mentioned the defense, what they were able to do. Steve, I'm mentioning playing a complete game, bringing it all together. The young guys on offense getting opportunities to get out there and do some things, and the offense for the first time in a while really starting to kind of let things loose and really get out there and do some stuff. But what were your biggest takeaways, Bill?
Yeah, I guess two main ones. One, the run defense. I don't know the stats on me. I think they only had 20 something yards, maybe until that last drive. But that's a pretty good offense too with NC State. They got their big play guy back, Hollywood Smothers, but we smothered him pretty good. Pretty much. There you go. It's just like every time they tried to run the ball, the line of scrimmage was reset about 2 to 3 yards, in the wrong way for them. So really kind of set up that pass defense for success. Jacoby Thomas, took advantage of that, but just a dominating effort on defense, and then offensively. Yeah, I don't even know if we really did. I know we threw in some trick plays, but I don't know if we really did anything differently. It just seemed like the execution was, much better. I think it was relatively early in the game. We took a deep shot. And we finally connected with, Keelan Mary downfield. The first, while this offense has been stalling, right, those go incomplete, and that kind of shifted, right, some of the momentum. But I think just overall, we played a much cleaner game, better execution. The run blocking, seemed a lot better. Pringle gave us probably some juice there, but overall, I think that's kind of what they wanted this offense to look like. Can we always be more creative? Throw some more wrinkles, of course, but when you can execute kind of the routine, the staple plays, this is what it's going to look like if your defense is going to kind of play that complementary football as well.
There's a 73 yard, like you said, 73 yards NC State had total in the game for that last drive. Last drive they have 75 yards. So that's as good. That's as good of a takeaway stat as you're going to get. That in the entire game, including some that was garbage time, they still weren't able to move the ball and do very much leading up until the very end of the game. So defense doing really everything they wanted to do out there. And are we looking at the situation now in terms of building confidence for the remaining 2 games? And obviously there's 2 left here. Opportunities to send a message to the national audience, opportunity to send a message to the committee. How much do we think, before we get to Miami's position right now, if Miami is able to play a game like this 2 weeks in a row and play this let this offense loose a little bit, do we think that'll be enough to impress? Before we talk about all the scenarios and all that, do we think if Miami shows a similar game these next 2 weeks, do you think people will take notice of that? Steve, over to you first.
They'll probably switch the excuse, but yeah, it would answer the initial concern. They said their offense was inconsistent. You put up 45 versus Stanford. You put up 38 versus Syracuse. You put up 41 versus NC State. You can keep dropping 40 these last 2 games. That's, hey, how are you going to say our offense isn't consistent? We've scored 35-plus points in 5 straight games. That's a good chunk of the season. So they'll probably come up with another excuse, but we'll get to that when we get to that type of the conversation. But yeah, it's just us executing better. Joshua Moore coming down with a deep shot down the field. Keelan Marion coming down with one. the creativity with Mally is only going to help us because, to be honest, when our offense was sputtering, some of the best things we had going for us was the quick plays to Mally, either a screen or a jet pass. And now every time he catches the ball behind the line of scrimmage or touches the ball behind the line of scrimmage, everybody got to wonder if he about to Mike Vick something and launch it downfield. I mean, let's just be real. He could just pull up and cock it. And so now as a defender, like, you just strain with your discipline. Like, you have to make sure a JoJo Trader's not streaking downfield. I mean, that was a 2-read thing. He had 2 guys going out. Like, Coach Dawson took the time to mention it. That is crazy. You know, for a gadget play, a trick, for a guy to have 3 options on that. You know, hit the post streaking in the middle, read the safety, and then, you know, if the sideline's open up from the hash to the sideline, make that throw. Like, he's literally running a jet sweep, looking downfield, reading the safety, and then just with no wind up at all. Like, bro, that's kind of crazy. Like, that's this type of stuff that they call you baby Jesus for. And that type of creativity is helping the offense, bro, because like Bill said, our execution, like, we like those little plays to Mally. We like those little plays to Keelan Marion, who made some guys miss Saturday. So it was nice to see that. We like those plays. So when you start throwing in that wrinkle in the back of a player's mind, they don't want to be that guy to give up that big play. So sometimes they don't attack that screen as aggressive. And next thing you know, CC's making it to you and putting you on your back. So it definitely just changes the entirety of the offense with our bread and butter plays. They're thinking something. And then, we ran some outside zones. But, we were a lot of inside zones. It was the same running play with Pringle. He was just hitting that hole full speed, no wasted motion, had some juice, made to the outside. And it was just a good running night ever. You saw, Marty make some good plays on the ground. Wheatley Humphrey came in at the end. Made some good some outside zones. We had some things where we were focused on getting Pringle to the edges behind some poolers. But it's really just better execution, man. And the trick plays are one thing, especially when you hit on them. But just going downfield without a trick play a couple times, and I felt like there was maybe 1 or 2 more times we could have went downfield, and we had a touchdown from Mally taken back as well. So that was called back due to a phantom holding call. So it's definitely getting there.
And like, speaking about Pringle, just to talk about him for a second, and Bill and I were talking about reference a little bit during the game. It was happening. Like, it's crazy that a freshman's coming in, and like immediately he's looking like the sharpest of our backs. But like you said, just speed, his ability to hit the hole fast, and like these holes close pretty quickly, especially when you're running like this inside interior zone stuff. And he's able to hit that hole with such speed that even if it's open for a second, he's able to make it through and get a big play for us and just gash the defense. And it's worked out really well. And I don't think that role is going to change even when Fletcher is fully healthy and all that, because you see what he's able to do with no reason to take him out.
And this is the perfect time in the season for the young, fresh legs to come in and have that juice. I mean, we saw it last year with Jordan Lyle. He was fresh at this time, and he was able to use that speed and that God-given ability to make plays right now for you. So I think Pringle's in that scenario where fresh legs coming in the back end of the season behind the offensive line that's really gotten their groove. Brockmeyer, he was under fire. I mean, the first couple of games, it was satisfactory, and he kind of went to a little slump. So he was under fire, especially on Twitter. They were showing some plays of him getting blown up, and he's definitely answered the call the last few games, and especially this last one versus NC State. I mean, him and there's a clip out there with him and Cooper, what they did in the double team. I mean, he answered the call. So a lot of that success, we got to give it to him, really contributing that running game. When you're able to move that nose guard and that 3-tech out the way on an inside run, I mean, obviously you're gonna have a better running game.
Yeah.
But some of that speed, and then out of the backfield, we ran a couple clear out routes. We're going deep, and you see Pringle just get that delayed little dump, and he takes it 20, 25. That's the difference. That's the little juice on a little dump off where he makes one guy miss, and then you see him use that speed to the sideline. He runs hard, obviously the fresh legs. But that type of stuff, you start hitting some deep shots, defenses start backing up a little bit. Now you're hitting Pringle in the passing game. It's just explosive options. Then when you get Fletcher back, it's going to be crazy tandem. Obviously, we like Marty Brown, and we like Lyle once he's healthy. But I think that could be an incredible tandem, moving forward, especially if we make the playoffs.
Absolutely. Bill, your thoughts with Pringle and like the attack that we have on offense, or just like things you see, wrinkles you might see this team bringing over the course of the next couple of weeks to really, like Steve said, make that final push.
Yeah, and our buddy Steve Kim compared Pringle stylistically to Clinton Portis, which I, once he said it, I clicked. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Not the biggest guy, but just really, decisive and, runs hard through that hole. So yeah, I just think that we need to juice somewhere, right? We found it with Mally, right? Of course, all season, but just we needed something, I think, a little bit more, from either the tight end or the running back position to get us going. And I think we may have found that with Pringle. And then, we'll see what happens with Fletcher, but that would be a nice, kind of your prototypical thunder lightning type situation. But yeah, I think Dawson, right? I think he's kind of, found his groove a little bit, with these, trick plays, wrinkles. So we'll probably, expect to see, 1 to 3, right, a game going forward. Hopefully you don't necessarily need them, right, for at least for Virginia Tech.
Right.
They always play us tough. They're probably gonna be all excited because they actually made a good football hire, and James Franklin. But I would like to see just be able to beat them with it, out execute them with just your talent, your staple plays. Save maybe some of those wrinkles for Pitt and beyond. If we get there.
If we get there, and that's a good transition for us to make our way over to the college football playoff scenarios. And obviously it's not a place where we wanted to be necessarily when we started doing this thing, but it is what it is. So we'll take a look and see where things fall right now at the moment. As everyone knows at this point, you see the rankings up there on your screen. The one on the left is the college football playoff ranking. The right is the AP poll. Over there on the left, we see Miami sitting down at number 13. And obviously, considering the scenario, you got to get yourself up to a number 11 at a bare minimum to get that opportunity to play. Miami right now, biggest competition, biggest issues. The two teams ahead of them, BYU and Utah. Big 12 school, Utah. The placement of them ahead of Miami has caused a lot of contentiousness amongst the fan base, as you see by the very real Utah fan that's in our chat right now. That is, having his conversations in there. But that's obviously a big part of the conversation. BYU being up there as well. They both have some games left. We'll go through the schedule of some of these remaining teams too. We'll talk about it a little bit. Vandy being right behind Miami is significant because that's a school where, with how the SEC plays their games, they're going to push and say 8-2 in the SEC is blah, blah, blah. USC actually kind of a little bit scary not because they're necessarily a super good team. And I don't know if Mayava and that company could beat Oregon, but if they do beat Oregon, the chances that Oregon falls below Miami are very slim. The chance that USC will be placed ahead of Miami is very high. So while that's people hope all these teams lose, but I don't think we want them to lose necessarily. So in terms of just pure rankings and where things fall, without the Notre Dame piece of the puzzle, just quite yet. But likelihood, you guys think that where in your mind should Miami be placed ahead of a Utah? Should Miami be up there with BYU or even ahead of BYU, considering the games that they've played and the opponents they've beaten? Bill, go to you first on it.
Short answer is yeah. It's supposed to be resume based. It seems like this year, instead of looking at quality wins, right, because they used that last year to try and prop up, the SEC teams. Now it's all about the losses, which is why Utah and Notre Dame are above, Miami at this point. But I think if we continue to win, right, and we win, somewhat convincingly, I do think we get above Utah because we do have that quality win. I don't believe Utah has that because they lost to both Texas Tech and BYU, if I'm remembering correctly. But I do believe, just based strictly on resume, right, Miami should be up there, right on the heels of BYU, Bama, Notre Dame. We can go down the Notre Dame rabbit hole, which is one of the craziest kind of situations where even Paul Feinbaum was defending Miami. I think that was today. Booker McFarland was tweeting his displeasure at kind of the rankings and how the head-to-heads doesn't seem to factor in. But we knew this going in. We knew it was going to be a Big Ten SEC invitational. And unfortunately, we left it in the hands of the committee. And odds are we're probably going to end up 12 or 11, which isn't going to be good enough to get in because the conference champs are going to jump us from the ACC and the G5.
Well, there was some talk about the conference champ from one of those schools, like from the ACC, maybe not getting opportunity. I think we're past that now, considering like where everything has fallen. Right? I don't think that's a possibility. So Miami to put itself in a bad spot here, but we'll talk about the Miami's ability to get the ACC championship game in a second, which and maybe that's even
bro. It's not happening.
It's not impossible, Steve-O. Someone dropped the tiebreaker thing where you just put wins in and see where it goes, and I found some scenarios. I'm not going to go through them, but it's on the table, Steve-O. But before we get to that, placement with regards to Utah, BYU, Alabama, Vandy, like Steve-O, like, do you think, like, what do you think of the placement of Miami right now?
I mean, obviously the Notre Dame is crazy. BYU, I get it. They only have one loss, and they're in a power league as well. I don't mind BYU being ahead of us. Bama dropped 6. I think Bama should be 11. 12 when you get that second loss, but they're gonna prop Oklahoma up. This is what they do. They just add teams in the rankings to say, oh, they got a ranked win. Like Missouri has no reason to be ranked over at at SMU or any other 7-3 teams in the ACC, but they just want to prop it up. So I think we should be 12, like above Utah, but I'm not really crying for more. Obviously, the Notre Dame is 100%. We should be in there, but as of right now, the team in front of us right now that's most concerning is Utah. And to make this playoff, I think we're for sure going to have to be 10. So it's going to be tough to make it, to be honest with you. We're going to have to do everything we can these next 2 games to blow everybody out. But I don't know, man. I just feel like they're going to screw us. As if we get too close to Notre Dame, like they're trying to kick that can down the road. If we get down the road, and they are still saying Notre Dame, I mean, we're done. We're screwed. And BYU and Texas Tech make it to that Big 12 championship. They're both in.
You think? Oh, yeah, obviously. Well, I mean, BYU with their second loss, you think they would still guarantee a spot?
They're not gonna. I mean, unless they just. I mean, they switch the criteria and everything. Like they said that they're giving Oregon credit for beating a top 5 Penn State, even though they fell off after. And then the very next minute, he says, what's his name? Virginia's chances have been hurt because their best team, Louisville, lost last week and they're out of the rankings. So why does a team that's the same scenario for Penn State being abysmal and nowhere near as good as Louisville getting a prop win for Oregon when like Virginia, oh, your team lost, now they're out the playoffs. Like, bro, what? Penn State lost to UCLA. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are we talking about? It's ridiculous. It's not a thing where we know the TV networks run the committee. Let's just be real. They're making these huge investments on these TV deals. They're trying to get as much money as they can out of the playoffs. The TV executives are 100% telling the matchups they want to see, and the committee is just a puppet because there's no way they just contradict themselves every day. They post them out by the day. Like there's nothing they can say. They know. Oh, social media. It's not damn, these are the 4 teams and move on. Like, nah, bro, they're continuously calling you guys out on the hypocrisy because everything's on camera, everything's on this. You guys have reneged on everything you say. You guys say head-to-head matchups and common opponents. Based on head-to-head matchups and common opponents, there's no way teams are ranked where they are. Alabama played Florida State. We played Florida State. We played NC State. Notre Dame played NC State. There's a lot of common opponents throughout here, and there is not being honored. So that was last year's thing. And now this year, it's a totally different thing. They're glazing, oh, yeah, but they lost this game to them. So why are we putting teams in the playoffs that we know can't win big games? They've lost the big games that they played during the regular season. Why are we propping up? You know what? They lost to a great team. You know what? You have one loss to a great team. I feel you. But you have 2 losses, 3 losses to a great team. Guess what? You can't beat no great team. I want to hear that.
How about like I was thinking, like, go to that, going with that idea, Steve-O, like who the teams are losing to and how it's happened. Do you think then Miami, with the games we've won compared to the games we've lost, and the games we've lost being to, good teams, like solid teams that aren't quite up there in the rankings, how do you think that is viewed? Because Miami didn't it's not a huge game. It's not like the Notre Dame was either of those games. It's not like a national attention game. But at the same time, solid team. Do you think that might work in favor of Miami? Because we haven't.
They didn't care about that last year when Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. They change it every time to fit their narrative. SMU and Louisville are not terrible teams. They're making them seem like they're the worst teams you could ever know. Losing to Florida State is one of the worst losses you could have right now, bro. They're making it seem like that. Louisville is a good team. They lost to Cal. They in overtime. A freshman quarterback beat them. I get it, but he's like that. Everybody in the country is gonna be calling that boy. Probably already. And then SMU is no slouch. They're in the playoffs last year. Did they take a step back and have 3 losses at this point? Yeah, but bro, the SMU is not no slouches. But Missouri, they're gonna prop up Missouri and South Carolina, these other teams, bro. No, stop it. Get some help. Like, we see it. Like, everybody sees it. It's a clear biasness, and it's crazy because ESPN owns the ACC too. It should be and they have I don't know. They should not just be bending over backwards or bending over the other way for the SEC when they own the ACC and the SEC. If anything, it's an all-out war versus the Big Ten.
Well, how about
How
about this scenario? Because I got something real quick before Bill jumps. Or go ahead, Bill. You do your thing, and I'll throw my scenario.
Yeah, I was gonna say, a lot of times when we think of the SEC bias, we think of it at the top, but where it really comes into play is at the bottom of these rankings, right? Tennessee being ranked, Missouri being ranked. Go look at their resumes. Go look at who they played and who they beat and all that, and it's dreadful. There's no reason that a 3-loss Missouri should be over SMU right now if you actually just looked at the resumes, and that is done so that you can have those extra quality wins, right, for those top teams, right? So that way you can justify having Alabama up there when they have a horrific loss to Florida State, that they just lost now. So I mean, the committee, they can use any data points they want, and you can pick and choose in certain scenarios to get the teams that you want in, and that's what we knew going in, right? That's what Steve-O had just said. But when it comes down to it, we know the situation we're in. We need to go 11-1 to guarantee us in the playoffs. Doesn't matter who we beat, who we lost to. If we have 2 losses, those SEC teams are going to be placed ahead of us. Or Notre Dame too in this case, but it's a made for TV deal that this whole playoff thing is. It's not about necessarily getting the best teams and looking at the resumes, because they switch it when it's the most convenient for them. All you hear about is quality wins. Oh, this team beat that team, this team beat that team, and now this year it's look who they lost to. It doesn't matter who they beat, but look who they lost to. It's really just become frustrating as a fan, right? And if it was the consistent criteria and they followed it and everything was kind of above board, you can live with it, right? You can stomach that. You may not enjoy it in the moment, right? If it hurts your team, but if it's quality wins and overall record, then that should be it every single time. It shouldn't flip flop season to season or within the rankings itself. So just overall, I think disappointing and frustrating as a fan that this is how it is, in modern college football.
So we'll go to my hypothetical. On that note, Bill, the idea of like you have to go a certain ranking to get where you got to go, and like where the scenario is right now. There's the talk of like one of the things that you could do if you get to your conference championship game. They say the conference championship game will hurt you, blah blah blah, right? BYU, let's say they're sitting there right now, only one loss, and they're ahead of us. Obviously, they're up there at 11. If they lose to Cincinnati, right, who's a good team, I think they're ranked 25. Or they're ranked in the top 25.
No, I think they're out.
Are they out now?
Cincinnati lost to Arizona last week.
Okay, so if they lose to Cincinnati, they'll still be very likely in the Big 12 championship game, or they're going to be, it's a tiebreaker between them and Utah. So now they have 2 losses. They're in the Big 12 title game. Would they get in ahead of us with 2 losses automatically? Probably not. Like if they lose, so they get in the Big 12 title game, they lose that game to Texas Tech again, they're out, right? Even though they made the Big 12 title game, they should be out.
Yeah, I think the way it's going to kind of set up is the committee will have them just outside the 12-team playoff. So that way, if they lose, they're not necessarily being punished. But if they win, then they'll kind of slide them up, right? Because you have to be top 10 in the rankings, right? Because the ACC champ is going to be way beyond that. The group of 5 teams is going to be way beyond that. So I don't think BYU gets to 10. So I don't think it's going to be an issue as to if they lose or not. The problem is if they win, then obviously they're in, and then Texas Tech takes that other spot as well. So, yeah, I think the committee's going to play it smart. They'll kind of have it set up where they're not going to be in that situation. And if one of those, they're not going to kick a team out for losing, right? You can't do that at this point. Although I think we just need to abolish conference champions, and they can kind of have your own mini tournaments or whatever at this point. Or once we go to 24 or 32 teams.
Crazy. And let's talk about the Notre Dame thing real quick. How likely? They say, and what they said, like we're on different tiers is the argument that's being made. But head-to-head matters if you're on the same tier. If Utah loses to Kansas State and BYU loses to Cincinnati, now we're 11, right? Now we're number 11. What are the chances that you guys honestly feel deep down in your soul that they will rotate it so that Miami is ahead, Notre Dame is 11, Alabama's 9 or whatever, and we're 10. Like, give me we'll do the thumbs up. What do you think the chances are that they will make that rotation and not make an excuse when they do it? I'll give mine.
I mean, if they think they're so far ahead of us at this point, even though the resumes are pretty similar, close, you can maybe make an argument for maybe 1 or 2 data points in Notre Dame's favor, and obviously there's a lot going on in Miami's favor. But that kind of reinforces the point that these 2 teams are not however many spots there are apart right now in the rankings, right? It's not as though Notre Dame has 5 top 25 wins, and they're just this machine that got upset week 1, right? That's not the case. That they're very similar, and kind of the Notre Dame fans prove it as they just continue to argue on Twitter about these random ass data points or kind of whatever reasoning they want to use. It kind of just proves the point that the two teams are very similar. So should we be above them? Absolutely. If the committee hasn't done it at this point, it's not. I don't think it's going to change in the next 2 weeks, right? No one's going to be impressed by us beating Virginia Tech, and no one's going to be impressed enough by us beating Pitt. At least in the committee. I think nationally, I think everyone is actually on Miami's side, which is even crazier than kind of what's going on in the rankings. That kind of everyone agrees, Miami should be above Notre Dame. It's not even a question.
Because it just goes against the whole thing. What are we? We're a podcast or YouTube thing, but what do we do? It's about football. Football is about games. Football games are played, and winners and losers come out of games. So you play the game to win. So if you are not respecting a head-to-head matchup and the common opponents, which are the only 2 things that really matter on the field, all this politicking is just crazy. It's You have guys stepping down because they're getting investigated. You're just grabbing. Is anybody shocked that the Utah AD gets picked up and now Utah's in? Like no one's shocked. Like, yo, hey, like the committee is just, we need to get rid of them, to be honest with you, because it's not a fair system. It's never going to be a fair system. I'll just say it like that. I'm not stupid. I'm not like illogical, but it can't be just, hey, this is the teams that we're supposed to get in. Let's just lie on air and in front of people and pretend they're stupid. We're not. We've been calling you on everything, and it was just fans for a while. It was fans, when it was Florida State. You had all the podcasters, you had all the TV people saying, yeah, it was Bama's turn, go ahead, Bama. But now that's changed. You have people on ESPN, you have people on this. All these people were like, yo, hold on. We get the narrative. We've been pushing it for you. However, how can we justify putting them over a team that they beat? There's only one way to find out if a team's better than somebody or not, and that is to blow that damn whistle and kick that ball off. And we won. It's dumbfounding how it's even a conversation. And they're not in the same tier. Bruh, we would not be in no dogfight with Boston College right now.
It's frustrating. And it's like you said, it's a system that's designed to keep certain people ahead, keep certain people below, and it's where everybody wanted. It's what everybody agreed to and everybody pushed for. That was making decisions, and nobody fought against it. And here we are in the worst possible scenario. And what Bill said, every time I hear it said, and it's like, well, obviously, yeah, you have to do it. The idea of abolishing conference championship games because they don't matter. And like the more you see that statement, like I don't know if there's a lot of disgusting things about college football the way it is right now, but like the idea that winning the ACC, winning the Big Ten, winning the SEC doesn't matter to teams is true, and it's ridiculous. But it's such a frustrating thing to have to face right now as a college football fan. Like that whole joke about Miami never won ACC, Miami won ACC, and now we've outlived that mattering. Isn't that crazy? Like we've outlived the ACC championship mattering. That's how we have lost it enough times that conference championships have like become extinct. It's crazy.
There's literally no merit. Like I would not be surprised if they rest guys during conference championship games. Like why? If you're going into the playoffs, why play your studs? Like it's getting to that point where, while as a player, you'll never want to sit out, but some teams might do it. It's crazy. Like it really just doesn't matter at this point. As long as you make it, you're in a good position.
And you're not supposed to be punished for it. So if you're sitting at the 4 seed, if you're on the 4 seed and you're facing the 1 seed, that it really doesn't matter because nothing's going to change. You can try and get a higher seed, but is it worth it?
Yeah, I mean, look at Ohio State right now. Like, what are they going to do in their conference championship game? Like, what the Big Ten championship game is going to be like.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
What do you do? Like, they're not gonna move anybody down. Like, you're gonna flip 1 and 2. Like, that's all you're gonna do. Maybe is flip 1 and 2, but it's completely. If they both stay like where they are right now, it's completely useless. And it's gonna be like, and one team could win. It's like when LSU won. Was it LSU won the SEC championship game and Bama won, and then Georgia did it like a couple years later. It's like. Yeah, congratulations on that, but you lost the thing that actually matters now. What you did was like you won a preseason game.
Yeah, Georgia lost the SEC championship, and Florida State won the ACC, and they still put Bama in, who didn't make the championship game. So it's not unheard of.
Yeah,
for them punishing, a loss, which Georgia at that point had won like 26 games in a row or something. So that was crazy. But no one was gonna fight for the Bulldogs, but. They did that for again TV ratings. Nick Saban's last year, like that's ESPN saying sorry, Kirby.
Sucks. And Proud Cat Dad, quick question: does the playoff committee consider the record of the opponent at the time we play them, or the record at the end of the season? Whatever fits what they have to say that week.
It depends what team you're looking at.
Yeah, whatever that guy has to say, go up there and like defend whatever pops into his head. Because at the end of the day, like what he said doesn't matter. Like you could be like, "Hey, that's hypocritical. Hey, that's ridiculous. Hey, that goes against what he said the week before." And what does he do? Just all right.
Yeah.
He's out of there.
And just think how many SEC teams have been propped up by beating South Carolina, LSU. You know, these teams that were super highly ranked, they get this big quality win. You know, those teams suck. They're bottom of the barrel, right? And even, look at, Texas A&M. See who they beat in the SEC. It's the bottom half. So, like, even, the SEC teams aren't even, created anywhere near equal in terms of the schedule they play. So, just the blind propping of a conference is even more hypocritical now that it's, we have these giant unbalanced conferences where, Texas A&M, and I do think they're a good team. They deserve to be ranked high, but they didn't play an SEC schedule.
No, they played Auburn, who stinks. Mississippi State stinks. Florida stinks. Arkansas is awful. LSU is a joke. Missouri, who's decent. South Carolina, I mean, as like the limit of the limit took them to. And they got a big matchup against Samford next week to tune up for Texas. No Bama,
and Texas,
no Georgia. No Bama, no Georgia.
And it's like that's just an example of Texas A&M. It's not even like a knock on them, but it just shows that it's just unbalanced, and that even adds more to the bias when you're kind of overranking all these SEC teams to prop each other up. If the SEC was as good as they are, they wouldn't need all this extra help. Spot the ball play in the last 2 years, they haven't really had much success in the playoffs. Now that the NIL era is underway, their best performing team in the playoff last year was Texas, newcomer. Notre Dame beat up Georgia. The year before that, Michigan won the title. Alabama lost to who was that? Washington, right? Oh no, they lost to Michigan in the 4-team playoff. So it's just, if it was fair, I think you can live with saying a conference is the best, SEC is the best, but that doesn't mean they should get all these built-in advantages to ensure that they remain the best. Now I'm done talking about it.
Self-fulfilling prophecies. They love those because it gets just whatever they do. They know people will watch it and they don't really care about anything else. But we'll pause that for a moment. With more to talk about next week, we'll probably have the same conversation and the same ridiculousness. So next week I'm breaking out the how do we make the ACC championship game simulator thing. So I'm going to bust that mug out and see where it takes us.
If Georgia Tech beats Pitt, then it's over, I believe. Right? That's like the main domino. We need Pitt to win.
I don't think we do. I'm not going to worry about it now. I was about to open it up. And it's the jankiest website. Let's see, where is it? Look at this website.
Yeah.
That's
it.
You see that, Steve-O? That's some like old school internet stuff right there. That this guy made this website. Made it in his computer Java class. All right, here we go.
But yeah, I mean it's
right,
pretty
I'm
much.
gonna do it myself. I've been doing it with other stuff. But
I thought it was like a less than a 7% chance we make the ACC title game. So I thought I saw that somewhere on ESPN. They love all their metrics and data points. But I'm pretty sure that because Virginia appears to be in, right? Actually, there's still 2 weeks, so who knows? Yeah, I guess there's no really point talking about until like the last week when everything is, kind of set in stone because there's probably still way too many variables. But I remember, way back when I kind of said these big conferences without divisions are dumb and everyone kind of like mocked me like, no, this is great. You're going to ensure the two best teams in each conference are going to play each other. False. That was wrong. It's even I think it's even muckier now, right? That, a bunch of top teams don't play each other. But if you had divisions, the tiebreakers are pretty straightforward because it's head to head, and then you can kind of get into the weeds a little bit if it's everyone's 6-2 or something. But it's a lot cleaner. It's a lot more balanced, and you truly earn your way because the games have to be played on the field, and those games on the field have to matter.
Oh yeah, but you might be right about the Georgia Tech thing.
I know.
All right, whatever. We're done with that. We'll talk about it more next week. See how that thing goes. On a positive note, we don't want to miss out on a recruit. We did get a commitment from Gavin Mueller, who big tight end from Midwest. Always love to see it. Abandoning his Colorado commitment. I can't believe he did that with how efficient their offense looks. But heading over to Miami, but definitely a playmaker, a guy that has big time potential for what the Hurricanes like to do, and definitely reminded me of a couple guys we've had in recent memory. But I'll splash some tape up there, and Steve, I'll go to you first on it. Your thoughts on getting Gavin to the U?
He's a good athlete. So anytime Coach Dennis Smith, it was funny because people were talking about how sus the wording was, but big, long, and explosive. So he's definitely that type of guy. He's a vertical threat as a tight end. He's one of your more of like a pass catching type. We flipped him from Colorado, but he's just an athlete. You see him here at quarterback again, just beating guys to the edge. Not probably the strongest competition, but just again, I'm a big time. Go get a big athlete, a big slot, a jumbo slot type of tight end. These are my type of guys. I like guys, and he's a little bit different because he's so used to having the ball in his hands that he's making guys miss. He's not just running down the field, just mossing people all the time. So I think that gives them a little bit of edge when it comes to yards after the catch when he gets to the next level. Obviously, it's not going to be this easy in the Power 4. So, but I like the commitment. Obviously, we've been working this for a while. When you look at his tape, this is a guy who, with some development that we've been showing on our staff, that this is a guy in 2-3 years could look like, damn, I can't believe this guy was just a 4-star. He's one of the best centerpieces on the team. And I could see that, and not even being 2-3 years. I mean, you never know. You can come in as a freshman like Mally and go crazy, or you might redshirt just to get used to it. I think maybe he needs a little bit of development as a full-time tight end instead of just being an athlete. So that's maybe a 2-year thing, but just the tools are there. If you go out there, Josh Moore isn't fully developed, but you can run downfield and catch balls and make plays. They'll find a spot for you.
For sure. Phil, thoughts?
Yeah, and I think he's pretty new to football. I don't think he's been playing his whole life, if I'm reading kind of the 24/7 bio correctly.
Yes, Sergio mentioned that as well.
Oh, yeah, perfect. So yeah, still raw in terms of that, but the athleticism there. We really need help at the tight end position. I know some of the younger guys are hurt. Lofton necessarily hasn't lived up to what we thought he could be this year, although it was good to see him get in the end zone, last week. But, we need help, right? And we kind of, the way this offense is, you need guys that can block as well as, make some plays in the passing game. We kind of, we're spoiled with Elijah Arroyo last year where he was, an elite athlete, right? Receiving threat, and he could also block. And we also, just had Cam McCormick basically as an extra tackle. But he was able to make some plays in the passing game and kind of the short range. But if you can get a guy that can legitimately block and be a vertical threat, that's something that this offense could really use to help take it to the next level.
Like when I first saw him, I was like, looks like G-Reg to me. But obviously, like some of that just the natural athlete, the position, a guy. But still, a lot of big ceiling for the kid. See what he's able to develop into. The athleticism they'll be in there is obviously a great start. That'd be something you'd rather have than not have and have to figure out the back end of it. Like doing a little Mally play right there too. What the hell? Why not? But Steve, you froze. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
Oh no, I was just hitting the Friday Night Lights, and he can pass. Booby Miles' uncle.
Yep.
There's a hilarious comment in there.
Speaking of passing, I'm afraid Bill was trying to pass on predictions for the week because I'm feeling pretty good about it going in. So let's see what old Bill's got for us.
You wrote it down last week, genius.
What?
You wrote it down last week.
Oh, damn.
I also forgot all the papers at home too. So
Did I write it down last week?
you were supposed to.
Oh, damn.
But yeah, I don't think it was close.
Pretty sure.
You went. I know you went big. I forgot what Steve-O did.
I think I did like 38 something.
Yeah.
I got a lot of like random stuff right now. I had stuff. The guys had a paper next to me where I have our projected long-term defensive line, and it's got Jared Harrison Hunt and Leonard Taylor on it.
Oh God!
I'm not even sure.
You need new paper, bro.
Yeah, I think I do.
I got JHH and SMU legend.
I just keep adding stuff to the same thing. Oh,
That's
damn,
hilarious,
Brian.
bro.
I think I won though.
You were. I saw you writing last week, but I knew you were like up there with like 40 something to low.
Yeah, I went plus 40, so I probably should look that up.
Nah, I think you got it, fam.
Are we good giving me the win? We got on the same page?
Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah. I think I clinched the win for the season now, right?
Yeah.
You still got a lot to play for.
Not me.
Well, I guess technically, if we make a run in the playoffs, I think I could catch up. But
All right, so I got the win.
we're not getting in the playoffs.
So I got it then. I got you.
Yeah.
All right, but so we'll look on to next week, and I don't remember the crazy predictions either. I must have wrote those down. Hold on.
No, you had to.
I know I had the CJ Bailey throws the U down, then gets turned over the next possession, but he did not do that. He didn't have any highlights to do that, unfortunately. But I know I missed.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember what I said.
Hold on. All right. Oh, I got it. All right, here we go. Because that's what made me find it, because I had that written down too. It was over down here. It was down. I had something. All right, whatever. I got underneath my Anthony Campbell notes. Tyler Harrell, Anthony Campbell transfer notes. I got it. Anyway, so the predictions were Bill was 31-26. That's off by what? A lot. Steve-O was 38-21. That's off by at least 21 points.
Yeah,
Fresh was 41-17.
Not bad.
That's 10 points off. I was 45-20. So Fresh won.
Yeah. Give it up for the chat. Fresh.
Fresh.
There you go, fam. I didn't even see him today. You don't even know.
Fresh.
You don't even know he's glorified today. No, I don't see Fresh in the chat today.
Look at Rev Ron was going to go rewatch the end of the show to help us out. We appreciate you, sir. We are as sloppy a crew as we can put together, but we were able to figure it out. Thank you very much. And the predictions, Bailey throws down to you. Next pass is a turnover. I believe that was wrong. I didn't see it. Steve, I know you had the binoculars out looking for it. I don't think we got that one. I said we look like a college offense.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. We definitely look like a college offense. I can't deny it.
Keontae's backup. Stevie said Keontae's backup, or whoever's playing slot, gets an interception.
Yeah.
Bryce did not get an interception. Who had a great game.
Look, he knew it was going to be Bryce.
Brock's fired up. Brock Berlin said Beck 5 touchdowns, like he did against NC State. He did not get 5. He got 3. Well on his way. 4. We got 4. Well on his way, but not quite Brock's NC State performance. So I won that. Fresh won the predictions. We'll see where that plays out. So baby's still alive. A chance to knock me off my pedestal here. So because I didn't win, Fresh isn't here. I'm going to go Bill. You open up with predictions for this week.
37-13.
Ooh.
I didn't even look at the spread either. So it's gotta be up there though, right?
Probably.
I'm going 45-6. They are terrible.
The spread is 17.5.
Oh, I'm taking that.
17.5.
Let me get my phone.
Do I think we can wall up Molly Wop 2 weeks in a row? Back-to-back Molly Whopping? I mean, they can't pass the ball at all. I'm going to go. What'd you say, Steve? 41-6?
Yeah, I said 45-6.
45-6. Bill, you writing this down?
I don't have paper.
God damn it.
I left the paper at home.
All right.
Too much damn traveling.
45-6. What'd you say, Bill? 31-13?
37-13.
All right, I'm going to go. Damn, I like 45, Steve-O. Damn it. Let's go 38. 38-9. 38-9. All right. There's Rev on. Thank you, sir. Rev, because you did the dirty work for us, you get to throw your prediction in. We'll pick your prediction. B Harp at 52-10. Landon Ibieta 49. No. 52-7.
Get an extra field goal at the end.
Yeah, playing a little, not Wheel of Fortune rules, Price is Right rules. Playing a little Price is Right. All right, Rev, you throw your prediction in there. We'll pick you for it. There you go. 77-0. There you go, Steve-O. A prediction for your heart, man. There you go.
Oh God, Steve-O type pick. Yeah, what I would have if I would have stuck to my guns, I would have been sitting in the driver's seat.
I hope
I
hope they win 72-3 and Rev gets that dub. All right, crazy predictions. I'm gonna say I'll go with mine first. I'm gonna say that 2 Miami running backs have more rush yards than Virginia Tech has pass yards.
Like 2 players combined?
No, like 2 individual Miami running backs have more rush yards than Virginia Tech has passing yards.
Yeah, he's Cam Ward's cousin, not his brother.
All right. Whoever wants to go, throw it in there.
I'm gonna go. We score 7 touchdowns.
Hold on, Steve-O.
Wait, no, my math's wrong. We need 8 touchdowns.
Steve-O, you said 45-6.
Yeah, so we need 8 touchdowns or something like that.
6.
We need 8 though. I'll say we score 7 touchdowns. F it.
Do you want to change your prediction then?
Nah, but my crazy. I'm either hitting the crazy bet or I'm winning on the points.
I got you. Hedging it a little bit. All right, hedging it a little bit. 7 TDs. Oh, on offense, or doesn't matter?
Nah, just 7 touchdowns as a team.
Got you.
Yeah, well.
All right, Bill, what you got?
Without Keontae Scott.
We get a safety.
That's kind of lame, Bill.
Yeah, it is kind of lame. I ain't gonna lie.
You gotta do something. You gotta at least give us a player.
It's a crazy thing though. But safeties aren't common. But we get a safety.
It's boring. It's just like without any little backstory to it. You can't even give us a little flair to it.
Yeah, it's like a pro style pick.
Yeah, Miami gets 3 touchbacks. Who cares?
You said it was like a college offense last week.
That was a crazy prediction. That was a crazy prediction just a week ago.
No one could have ever foreseen that.
We get a safety via fumble out of the end zone.
Ooh, out of the end zone fumble.
Okay, someone on punt team.
Snap over the punter's head, something like that.
Yeah, somebody on punt team. You're getting called out right now. Make a play. Make a play.
Okay. All right, crazy predictions we had. Utah Jim says the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Oh God, I don't want to talk.
BR says
38,
Miami
you're right.
38-0 at half. Lady Avietta score out of our 4 wide receiver formation in honor of Landon Avietta. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard not to pick it, but I'm gonna. Well, James comes out of the booth to coach the team after halftime. Brock Berlin 2 40-yard touchdowns. Looking like.
Nah, we can't do that. Come on, it's never gonna happen.
But I don't know where Dunson is these days.
That was senior day. That was that. That's what that was.
All right, let's go with B-Harp. Let's go with a crazy 38-0 lead.
Let's do it.
All right, there we go. It is decided. It is decided. And with that, we say goodbye. We're out of here. Another great week of Miami Hurricanes talk. A lot of optimism now that we have. If we would have won one more game, then we would have been a lot more optimistic. But it is what it is. We are where we are. Before we get out of here, Bill, final thoughts for the people.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? Next week is Thanksgiving. Do I have my
Sir?
Yeah, so season's coming to an end. Kind of went by quick, but yeah, this defense, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Just enjoying this defense for the last 2 weeks, savoring it because you never know what's going to happen next year with the NIL portal era. Things can change quick for better or for worse, but go out there, smack Virginia Tech. That way we can come back on the show next week and complain about not being ranked high enough for the playoff.
Steve-O, final thoughts of the people. Oh, frozen Steve-O. Hold on, Steve-O. Hold on. All right, here you go, Steve-O. Final thoughts of the people.
Nothing. Let's just beat Virginia Tech the way we're supposed to beat Virginia Tech. Enjoy it. I love you used to believe in me, Steve. But that's hilarious, dog. Completely lost my train of thought. But I'm like, no, like that type of energy. But just let's beat the hell out of Virginia Tech like how we're supposed to. I love the fact that it's a noon kickoff game. Get it out the way early. Let's watch the game. Let's wake up. Let's get a workout in, and then watch the game. It's gonna be should be a slaughter. We know that there's nothing else we can do but win these games so handedly. Like, that's the only thing left we can do. Everything else is out of our control. We have no control of the ACC championship. We kind of don't have no control over the committee. The only thing we can do is try to prop up and be like, hey, didn't you guys say our offense wasn't so consistent? Well, we scored 38 plus points in 5 straight games. Is that not consistent enough for you? Just for another point for us to make against their hypocrisy.
Makes sense. Sounds good. All right, guys, that'll do it for us. Like Steve-O said, 12 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. Make sure you guys lock in for that. Hopefully Miami pulls off a big win. A lot of our predictions are pointing to it, so hopefully we're able to actually follow through and impress some of those people that sit in their offices and try to do their best to make Miami not get the rankings they deserve. So for Bill and Steve-O, thank you guys for watching the show. We appreciate you as always. Thank you to Landon Avietta for jumping in and a reference to the great Wayne Crevette. Thank you to everybody over at CanesInSight for all the great stuff that they do and allow us to do the show. Thank you to the Canes. Let's win another game. Make this stuff positive for next week, too. All right, for these guys, Chris, Real Life Canes.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska. He's a stud, that Brown, number 98. Urban's got it. Urban's free. Slips to the outside, tries to stiff arm, and he couldn't get by Ray Lewis.